As much as I'm just a dumb fucking stoner, smoking weed all day and watching all sorts of TV and media and whatever, despite that, definitely really appreciate highly intelligent, well written TV. And if there's the first show that comes to mind just when I utter that is Frasier. I'm finishing up season 5 right now. I've been watching it with my mom pretty consistently in the last year or two, and just like here or there whenever we feel like it. But it is one of the smartest, funniest, like the epitome of clever. If clever was a show, Frasier is like the top dog in that. It is insanely. The writing is just insanely fucking good, insanely jokey. What I really want to point out is how much I appreciate how jokey the writing can be. Whether it's where a lot of comedy does come from, just kind of the characters expressing themselves and just getting something out, and whether it's venting or just dealing with some sort of awkward situation. While there are a lot of the comedy of the show stems from that, a lot of the words and like the wording of the lines, the dialogue, and the what I mean by jokey, it's so punny, like or it's got a lot of good like puns in it, kind of like and it like forces you to think. Like it's like if you don't see it, or if you don't catch it, you'll miss it and you won't get it. So it's one of those things like you'd miss some great fucking funny moments if you stop paying attention for just a second. And I find that I'm in deep admiration of that. I don't know how the writers are that fucking good. Well, I'm a diehard Seinfeld fan, and that's definitely my favorite sitcom of all time. Frasier is like literally like a in between 1 and 2. It's like it can't even be a second. It's practically tied for first for like arguably the best sitcom ever made. The characters are so well fleshed out and so well like they're so specific, each and every single one of them. By the time you get into where I'm at, season 5 or 6, they are so themselves that any episode is like, it's like as soon as you really get to know who all of them are, that core group, the family, and then Roz and Daphne, when you really get to know all of them, then the later seasons, they just kind of, every episode it becomes their personalities as the spotlight of each episode. Is really what I love so much about it, is the characters' personalities thrive so much, and they allow the writing to, like, they let the characters settle into that. They like let the characters be themselves, and they kind of you can feel like the flow of like, I'm sure the writers' room for that show had a lot of good flowing moments together, where they just, because of how well established the characters are, you can see where they write themselves, and the episodes write themselves. I'm sure at some point, when you have such a good group to work with. So what makes It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia great, or what makes South Park, or any good show, or why we appreciate any ensemble show is having all these different types of personalities to get invested in. And that, obviously, you could say that about I guess any TV show is just a good ensemble. Excluding something like Dexter, I guess. Like, I don't know. So there are certain shows where it focuses way more on the lead more than anybody else. But what I mean with all this is that when you have, when you approach the writing not only in such a sophisticated way, but when you approach it in wanting to, it feels like there's a lot of maturity in the writing. There's a lot of in the best way, they're like cautious with how they want to do it, and they make sure that it fits the show. Frasier never feels like it goes outside of what Frasier should be and what we want to see it to be. it's so good at being itself. Every show should do that. Every story should always do that, because the quickest way to piss an audience off is when you do something, when you make the characters do something that's out of character, when you have certain story arcs or plot lines that feel convoluted or don't necessarily go anywhere, or don't feel just well constructed and completed in that way. It feels like it's half baked. Like we never want to see something feel half baked, and I don't think I've ever felt that with Frasier once. The first fucking episode, the very first episode, it hits the ground running. It immediately just kind of takes off. I don't think where Seinfeld really took like at least a season and a half to find what made it so good, or when it really started to come into its stride. Frasier is one of those few shows. Most shows are never like this. Most shows, everybody loves to complain about the first season of The Office, or the first season of Always Sunny in Philadelphia doesn't have Danny DeVito in it, so it's different. Like, I still love those first seasons of those shows, first of all, but the reason why people feel that way is just because the show isn't as strongly in the area of where it ends up being. Like when something really comes into itself, that's what people love to see, and that's what Frasier did immediately. I'm absolutely shocked at how, and I know of course he has to spin off of Cheers, and I'm excited to actually really watch that, because I just want to see more of Frasier, see more of his what that was before the actual show, the main show, what his character was before the main show, especially moments with him and his ex-wife. Like, I want to see all that shit for sure. But while they did have that to their advantage, that doesn't mean that because I guess you could say like Better Call Saul did that really well too. Like, they already had a lot to go off of. But that, regardless, these shows, it's hard to do that with any story. It's hard to make it immediately have that excitement and that well-paced flow that I'm talking about. It's rare that happens, and I think I've never been disappointed with Frasier. I've never been like bored watching it, or I've never watched an episode and been like, like that was whatever. There are like different like types of like it's not always funny. There are definitely different types of episodes that give you different all sorts of like different complex stories for all the different characters. As far as like there's drama as much as there is comedy in that way is really just what I'm trying to say. They have a lot of good serious moments and all sorts of different episodes. I've never felt like any one of them is a dud. However, I've never really felt like an episode wasn't worth watching or wasn't worth investing in. So as much as the episodes can kind of definitely vary, I don't want to say they vary in quality. They just vary in like the moods that they're trying to create, or they vary in like the different like layers to the characters. That's what I guess because they have so much of the plot is driven by what the characters are going through. The like different layers to each of them is kind of what you start to pick up on, or what you start to realize about it. And it's lovely. What's funny is like those moments are so incredible. Like they really do pull off the poignancy or more emotional moments very well too. There are a lot of like sweet tear-jerking moments actually in this show, as much as it is hysterical as well. So Frasier is fucking awesome. I'd love to, if anyone, I'd love to see what anybody has to say about Frasier. If you're a fan of the show, I'm just starting season 6 soon, so no spoilers. This is all like I have no idea what is gonna happen, and I'm excited to finish it. But I guess still have at least like 100 something episodes to go. I think there's like 11 seasons total or some shit like that. So I'll watch all of it, and then I'll like to maybe talk about it some more when I'm finished with it, and then maybe I'll even watch the reboot and talk about why people might not like it, or why maybe it's not as bad as people are saying. I heard it wasn't great, and I'm sure it's not the same show at all. I mean, I know Niles isn't it. I know fucking I forget his fucking name. David Hyde Pierce. I know David, like he's not in it, so I'm just like, like I don't even know if I want to check it out, but maybe I will talk about it. Yeah, Frasier, the most intelligent sitcom and some of the smartest writing in television history. I could easily say from what I've seen in the large scope of TV. Solid show, worth the watch, and I highly recommend it.